What up, dude? We're back on the lowdown. I thought it was Thursday, believe it or not, when I started my day, but it is indeed. I've confirmed with the atomic clock on my iPhone. It is indeed Friday. Sean Z, what's happening, brother?
I don't know what day of the week it is anymore, man.
It's a day that I'm going to originate loans, right?
Yeah. I mean, I thought yesterday was a Monday when the team got like 74 new contracts in again. I thought that those were only supposed to happen on Mondays, but that's like every day of the week now. So,
but it's
hey, man,
a problem to have.
It is a good problem to have. You know, Shane, we just had some June stats released to us, and for the second consecutive month now, purchases have risen. The June numbers back above refi apps, just marginally. I'm sorry, closings. So 56% of loans closed in June were purchase closings. How's your team doing? You got a lot of purchases you rolling through your way?
Yeah, but that's a really good thing for us because, you know, we were the tip of the spear when it comes to COVID. And so I don't know if that was March. Every month now, 2020 is like one long month. But at the beginning of this long month, like it shut down everything. And our purchase business went from like 75% of our volume to like 2%. And it was completely shut down overnight. And so for a month there, man, we were cranking refis and nothing, like absolutely nothing else. And so for us, it was, hey, we're going to take what we can get. You know, we just cranked what we could crank. And like the feedback to our team was, we're going to close the deals that we can close. And we closed a lot of refis, had record months. And then our purchase business came back like a rocket. And the Seattle Times, which is our local paper, they talked about this is the hottest housing market we've ever seen, which is crazy because you can't even go see a home without reserving a viewing in advance. Hey, T, what's up, brother?
What's up, my man?
Hey, we're glad to have you on, dude.
Hey,
were you busy getting your teeth whitened? Were you running late on that or what?
No, I got stuck in a job interview. Not for me, for someone
probably
else.
Smart that you look for a new line of work, dude. That's really smart.
Yeah. You know,
Hardee's is hiring.
Hey man, does Chick-fil-A require a resume, dude?
Nope, you gotta go to church, so they hired.
Hey, so something else interesting. You know, all of our markets were experiencing some pretty high appreciation in pricing, but we are at the most affordable index that we've been at to buy a home since 2016. Why do you guys think that's happening right now?
Well, I mean, when you look at rates, like I use simple math, so I'm not speaking specifically here, but our home prices went up like 6%. Our interest rates went down by 25% or more, right? So you can do some simple math and it's like, I don't think homes went up 25%. Rates went down more as a percentage than home prices went up. And when I talk to my agents about that, because they're constantly talking people off the fence it's not an affordable time to buy. It's a terrible time to buy. Home prices are overinflated. I'm like, you've got to understand the total cost of acquisition, your monthly payment, you know, using like the home affordability information we got on MBS Highway, showing them on Mortgage Coach, these different technologies, understanding your true cost of ownership. It's an incredible time to buy. I mean, I saw an interest rate in the ones, like a legitimate interest rate from a legitimate investor. I actually was screenshotting like the optimal blue just to prove it, under 1%. That's stupid.
Under 2 in the
Under
morning.
2.
I'm sorry, under 2%. Yeah, under 1%. That would just be, that's the Fed. I'm not the Fed.
We're all in trouble if it's under 1.
Hey, man, who knows? Crazy. But yeah, I agree with you, Sean.
Hey, you know, speaking of the Fed, there was a really interesting article a couple of days ago on CNBC that, you know, the Fed has a dual mandate. And one of those is keeping employment high. The other is keeping inflation low or in check. And that mandate for years has been a 2% target to peg inflation to. And, you know, we've been talking a lot about the velocity of money, and it's at the lowest level that it's been since the Great Depression, which pulls
Can you real quick, Sean, I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you give like the 1-minute explanation for a simple-minded guy like Ken and I, what the velocity of money really means?
Well, he lost me at CNBC.
Is that on a normal station as well, Sean, or just but give us like a 1 minute, like the idiot
financial news, guys. I didn't say NBC. Financial news.
Got it.
So
Shark
the
Tank.
velocity of money is just the amount of times that a dollar turns over. So like, you go and, down to Chick-fil-A and get your chicken minis for breakfast this morning. And, you pay that to the business owner. Business owner then going, they're buying supplies, they're paying their mortgage, they're paying their employees are going out and, going to other restaurants, buying groceries, maybe taking a vacation or buying a new camper because that's what everybody's doing these days. And so it's just the amount of times a dollar turns in a year. And that is at one of the lowest levels in history right now.
So it's how you spend your debt. Like if you spend your debt, you buy something.
It's how quickly the dollar turns, how quickly it goes from you to somebody else to somebody else. And what's happening right now is typically when you're going to Chick-fil-A and you're buying your chicken minis, and then you're going, and the business owner, well, they're typically going out and spending that money. Well, the business owners is not going and giving that money and buying something else right now. And the person who took your order, which is probably the nicest person that you've ever met in the drive-thru, because everybody at Chick-fil-A is then taking that money, and they're typically go out and spending money and buying other stuff. They're buying televisions. They're turning that money into other things. Well, they are not either. They're taking that money and they're keeping it in their pocket too. And so when the velocity of money is slow, and one of the things that is good right now is saving rates are really high. And so the money's not turning, and that's good for some areas, and it's good for your fiscal health. It's really not good for an economy like ours. Like, money needs to turn in order, and we need some inflation because deflation is substantially worse for us all. So
like, how do we, because if I understand this and I'm like, yeah, I get it, Sean, that all makes sense to me. Well, how does an LO on the street trying to make a living, getting leads from agents, take that information and use that in a way to educate his referral partners, right? Like, what's the benefit of an agent understanding that information?
Well, I mean, one of the benefits of an LO understanding this information is like, just, we were giving so many reports as COVID was happening, and speaking to all of our local real estate boards. And I've been on several times for market updates afterwards. Like, when you can explain to somebody what the hell is going on in the market, like you become their go-to person. They know that you understand what's going on. When I was doing the market updates, everybody's like panicked. I'm like, this is the best time to buy a house. Like, and just explaining what's going on. So when you understand how money works, and first of all, you'll probably make more of it. But second, you're going to be a better loan officer. And just to educate, just having some of these natural conversations with realtors, first of all, nobody else is having them because nobody else understands like any of the conversations. So you're branding yourself as that expert. Like, there was a certain company that tries to get their app on everybody's phone that went public yesterday. And like, we're not going to compete with them, but you can compete with them on a local level. And, your realtors can then they'll give you more business just because like they know that I'm the guy. And when, like, even when I'm talking to clients about it, like, I love it when realtors come back and they're telling, yeah, like they appreciated the MBS highways graph that you showed them and your candlesticks, I think, and what blue and or what red and green were. But you talked a little bit over their head, and I'm like, well, I intended to. Like,
yeah, that's kind of the point, right? Like,
over their head. I just want to talk a little bit. So like, wow, that guy really knows what he's talking about. There's no one else I'd rather do my loan with than him. It's not about an eighth of a point in rate. It's about somebody who knows what the heck is going on.
Yeah. And Barry Habib always talks about being that advisor. And I think it really plays into that. It's like being an advisor is understanding more than not only your competition, but your client, and educating in a way that they're not going to get from a phone app. Right? Not that you can't have a sexy phone app, but have it connect to your phone so they can call you and get advice. That's where you're going to make your money moving forward. Great point.
Well, and specifically, as you're talking about like this Fed targeting, like when the Fed's mandate is to keep inflation low, and they're now talking about raising inflation and raising their target, that means that they are so freaking scared of deflation right now that they would actually put a higher target on there. Which then means, as you can tell your realtors, hey, listen, I don't know if they're going to be this cheap this long, but damn, these low rates, they're probably here to stay for a pretty long time. And, because every other time in our careers, guys, like, they haven't dipped down to this level, but they dip down to those low threes. And it's like you got 4 days to lock it, or 4 hours, and then it bounces.
Yeah. It's what's been nice too is as I've been talking to consumers, we're like everyone's over capacity, right? If you're not, it's because your rates are really expensive, right? But if you're over capacity, that's actually a good thing because that means that you're crushing it on your paycheck. What we're telling people is like, hey, listen, don't rush your refinance. Like the rates are like, first off, you look into an election year, they typically don't have massive market fluctuation right before an election. So we know we're going into what appears to be a pretty stable time in our industry for the next couple of months. This is the time to make hay strategically. Turn on HomeBot. Be strategic with your efforts and your time and marketing to your people.
Yeah. I don't think our team has ever slow rolled so many people.
Yeah.
Refis because of the capacity challenges and giving them that knowledge that you just shared, Shane, is like, hey man, rates are going to be here for a while. We can tap the brakes. If you want to go and speak to your spouse about it and make sure this is a good fit. And it's funny too, because some clients are like, no, I'm ready to do it now. We're like, well, I know, but go home and talk about it.
Take your time. Take your time. Sit on it for the week. Hell, maybe 2, right?
Yeah. I'll call you next week and we'll make sure it's a good fit for you.
You submit your app today, I'll call you in 60 days.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, Sean, what else we got?
Just, as we are talking about the home buying market, man, you got to get these refis where they're at right now. But over the next several years, we have 4 million more millennials that are going to be entering the home buying market. And that 20 to 29-year-old swath of people, man, they got good jobs. They're getting good jobs even in where the economy is at right now. So make sure that you got your strategies in place. You got to have a solid website. You've got to have some online reviews. You have to make it easy to communicate. Shane, you talk about it all the time. Meet somebody where they're at, because millennials, and I know get bad raps, but they're really good clients. And one of the things about millennials as well too, they're going to check you out online first, and they're going to check out your reviews, and they're going to check out your social presence. And if they like those things, they're not going to cut your left arm off for an 1/8 of a point in rate, because they want to do business with somebody they like more so than just get the cheapest internet deal out there.
Yeah.
I met with a marketer who's actually a real estate agent, and I was picking her brain because she's a good marketer. And I had her audit my site because I wanted to get feedback. And she said, Shane, people want to know, like, and trust you. If they can, and so when you're building a website, building a brand, they need to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust you. So you really need 3 components to your website. You need an about me section. You need something that gets them hooked on you that's unique. You need your reviews, scrolling through, showing all 750 people that like you, and then a call to action. And when we're talking about millennials, you got to understand the audience that you're going after. Where are they? Well, they're on YouTube, they're on video, right? So if you don't have a video specific strategy to generating leads, you are so far behind. I mean, one of our good buddies, our coach, Mike, who's all about YouTube, is specifically targeting people just on YouTube and crushing it. We got some of our clients in Next Level absolutely crushing it with YouTube. Just having just throwing a bunch of stuff out there with a shotgun approach is not going to win the millennial buyer.
Well, and he's actually working with you and I know. We're trying to crack the YouTube lender paid advertising code right now. So that's something else that we're going to have for our Next Level peeps here pretty soon when we get that dialed into.
Yeah. Speaking of branding, Shane, I don't think I've ever seen you without a hat on.
I know, dude. I actually left it in my truck this morning, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of being your own brand, baby, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
got me.
I feel off now. It's making me nervous.
I know it. I'm like, man, what's he doing, bro? Like, he ain't got his hat on today, man.
I'll tell you what, it's so funny because when I started wearing my hat backwards years ago, I finally just decided that I was going to stop caring what people thought. The wrong people, right? I said, what the hell? I like wearing a hat. It covers up my head and kind of have a big, wide head, and everything. Got to kind of minimize that a little bit.
We know.
And well, it's not as big as you guys, but and now I see these LOs all the time wearing their hats, like, be you, man, be authentic. But it's the truth, man. I think it's actually, that's kind of a good thing to end on. Like, guys, like,
Yeah, being authentic doesn't mean you talk about being authentic. It means you just be
yourself, man. You just be yourself and be real. And it's funny. So I posted on social media last week a picture of myself when I was this little chubby kid playing football with glasses on, right?
I took a screenshot out of that, KT, just so we have that for later. So.
All good, brother. All good. And I said, hey, everybody has an awkward stage, man. Show me your awkward stage, right? The reality is, dude, I got so many phenomenal comments from agents and referral partners on that. It just reminds people like, dude, everybody has awkward times in their lives. Everybody can just be who they are. If you like pink, wear pink. If you like to have a marine crop top haircut, you can do that till you're 60, until you lose your hair, KT. But just be yourself, man. Do CrossFit 6 days a week. It's all good, right?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, guys. Well, hey, man. Like,
or don't work out at all and be like Sean, you know?
Yeah, but just grow the beard.
Yeah, grow a beard. Yeah.
Well, listen, we kind of have come to the end, but we always want to remind people about our playbook offer. So, Sean, why don't you just kind of like close this out and just remind people about just because it's so important to have a plan. You know, what is it? If you fail to plan to fail. And the playbook just attacks that head on.
KT, you wrote the playbook, man. You should send us out here, bro.
All right, guys. So check it out. So all you have to do is text the word playbook 2020 to 484848. It's pretty easy to remember. Playbook 2020 484848. And until next time, we will see you guys again. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend.
Peace.
See you guys.